So this is the new Epson EF-22. It's Epson's gimbal stand lifestyle projector, which delivers 1,000 lumens and gives you the flexibility to really take this anywhere. But is it any good? Don't forget to hit the red button to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up and click the notification bell to get my next video first. So although this video is sponsored by Epson, they've not asked me to say anything good or bad about it, and I will be pointing out both the good points and also the things which are not so good, so that you have a full balanced picture of what this projector can do. Now, the first thing that I did really like with this projector is the turntable. It's one of the smoothest spinning turntable type design projectors that is on the market at the moment. And I think that the build quality, as you would probably expect from Epson, although looking a little plasticky, it actually has got quite a nice little sheeny type finish to it. And so overall it does look smart, and it does come in various color options. On the back of the projector is just one HDMI port, so you do need to bear that in mind, but it does double up as an ARC port, so you can hook this up to a separate sound system. However, this projector does come with Google TV built in, which I'll show you in a little while, and that is definitely a bonus. I do like the gimbal type design. It does mean that this projector is super flexible, you can point it anywhere, and you've got great coverage. The EF-22 utilizes Epson's 3 LCD technology, and it's a laser light source producing 1,000 lumens. Now I'll show you how that works in a bright and in a dark room a little later. The power connection is conveniently positioned on the gimbal stand, which makes it very easy to operate, and it means that it doesn't get tangled up. Now this thing is super portable. I would have liked to have seen it come in some type of carry case, because it's only just around 3 kilos, and that means that you could take this everywhere. As well as the main lens, you've also got your sensors for your autofocus and your keystone correction on the front of the projector. And I'll show you how these work in just a few moments. Okay, there's a few other bits and pieces in the box, like the power cables, for instance, but also the remote control. Now, the remote control is actually quite a nice one to operate. It's not backlit, sadly, so again, that would be a nice feature, but it has got shortcut buttons to YouTube, Netflix, and Prime Video, and also to the settings section of the projector, which again is a nice touch. Okay, the power cable is now plugged in, so it's time to put this thing into action. So this does have the auto screen fit technology built in, so you can just point the projector at your screen. It will then assess the screen and then adjust the image accordingly. Now this worked, I would say, to around about a 95% hit rate. There were a couple of times where it just had a little edge over the far bottom right corner of the screen, and so I then went in and manually adjusted that. Now, having that manual keystone correction also means that if you're projecting onto a slightly unusual surface, like here, for instance, my kitchen units, then you can go in and drag the corners to get the perfect size for how you want it to look. And you can do this, obviously, for a standard wall as well. But the auto keystone correction did work really well. You do get a little bit of light bleed. You can just see on the left-hand side. It's not horrendous, but it is certainly noticeable. A feature which was a little bit more sporadic was the auto obstacle avoidance. It worked around 50% of the time, but quite often it didn't detect the obstacle in its way. You can set the projector to adjust the image automatically as you're moving, so there's no delay at all. And as you move it up and down, it will automatically straighten and focus. Now, again, this is a really nice touch. It is quite common nowadays on a lot of projectors, but it's just a nice feature to have. But if you're pretty close and you're not too greedy with the screen size, this can get surprisingly bright. This is now around a 48, 49-inch image, and it is looking super, super bright. Now, it's important to know the limitations of a projector which just has 1,000 lumens, and in daylight conditions on a big screen, this is a 100-inch screen that it's projecting against, then you're going to notice that the darker areas do struggle. The blacks certainly will seem more grey than black, and you just get a little bit more of a washed out image. Don't get me wrong, it's still watchable, but it's certainly not competitive in terms of the brightness to something maybe around 2,500 lumens. But definitely in a dark room, you're not going to have any issues with the brightness. As you can see here, the room is dark and it's super bright on this 100-inch screen. Now, I'm projecting from probably around 8-9 feet away, and it's doing a perfectly good job. Now, this gives you an indication of how bright it is compared to a TV. This is an OLED TV, but the projector is just pointed straight up at the ceiling, and as you can see, it's doing a pretty good job. So again, it's about not being too greedy with the size of the screen, and making sure that you're projecting against a lighter surface definitely is the best. So the flexibility of this projector means that you can project it against anything, whether that be a ceiling, a bedroom wall, or a big screen like this. And as you can see now, there's lights on in the room, and the brightness of that image is still pretty good. So providing you know the limitations of the projector, then hopefully you can choose the right environment conditions. Then hopefully you'll get the best out of the projector by projecting it in the most appropriate way. Okay, so this is running full Google TV. That means you've got all the access to all of your favorite apps. You don't need to plug anything into this, so it is literally a box that you can take anywhere. Just hook it up to Wi-Fi and then you've got access to all of your favorite apps. With regards to the settings screen and the things that you can change, it's a little bit more limited than other projectors, but there are the different picture settings right out of the box. You can go in and tweak these and change the color temperature and things like that, and you can also change the sound. And if you want, you can set this up to operate as a separate Bluetooth speaker by hooking it up to your phone, for example. When it came to the screen uniformity, there was some noticeable bright spots and darker spots around the edges of the screen. Now, this is probably to be expected in a projector of this price point, so it's not really a criticism, it's just something that you ought to know. And likewise, it didn't pick up the darkest areas of the blacks or the different shades, as well as some others. But focus was all pretty good. There is the autofocus, which I found always needed slightly more adjustment, so I always had to go into Epson's manual focus to adjust it manually just to get it pin sharp. Now, I'm not saying that's the projector, it might be the fact that my eyes are not what they used to be. But anyway, you can still get it pretty sharp, and then if you look at all four corners once you're done, all four corners appear to be perfectly sharp enough for a projector at this price point, so no issues there at all. But overall, this is a really good lifestyle projector that can work in bright conditions like this. This is a bright room, there's plenty of lights on, and we're still getting a really good image. It's just got its limitations in the darkest of scenes, where the greys, blacks will be a little bit more washed out, and so therefore don't expect that you're going to get those inky blacks with this type of projector. So in summary, my friends, if you're looking for a projector that you can really have in any location in your house, that's got loads of smart technology built into it in terms of its keystone correction and its auto screen fit, and something which will be small enough to really sit on a shelf and point at any wall, this would make a great bedroom projector, but it also can do the big screen. And it's packed full of that Google TV, so therefore everything that you're going to need is already built in, so you don't have to have loads of things plugged into it. Well, then this could be the projector for you. It's certainly good enough to be producing a very, very smart image in a darker room, and if you're in a bedroom, for instance, or you're projecting onto a smaller surface, then you can be surprised how good this thing will look. It's the Epson EF-22. Check out the link in the description and you can find out much more about this projector. That's it for this video, my friends. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next.